Because so many times when we're driving a car, and I'll get to the driving the car thing in just a minute. So let's just say going through life, so many times it can be so easy for us to be looking back, right? Looking back on, what didn't go well, what decisions which we might have made in the past. And I just want to take a little bit of time to encourage you all. We have a live workshop that's happening at 12 o'clock today for members of the Unlocking Greatness community, and we have a guest speaker coming in. She's phenomenal. She had me just about in tears, and she's speaking today on self-compassion. And I just thought, let me go live for a little bit before our workshop begins to happen so that I can encourage some people. I want to encourage someone. There's got to be someone that's on this live that needs to hear these words right now because I wasn't even planning on going live this morning. I want to encourage you that you've done well. I think sometimes we just need to be told, and we just need to remember that we've done well. And I know that that's very difficult for some of us to digest. You all hang on one second. I forgot to copy and share this link. Give me 1 second. So I just want to take a little bit of time before my in-house live workshop begins today. And I want to remind you all, I just want to encourage somebody on this live right now. You've done well. You've done well. And let's let this be today when you make a decision that there's no more rear view mirror driving. And I'm going to talk about what I mean about that in a moment. I want you all to picture for a moment driving a car. Just imagine for a moment you're in your car, you're driving this vehicle, right? You're driving a car. And I want you to think about, do you know how difficult it is to drive a car and look in the rear view mirror? So picture yourself driving a car, and then picture yourself looking in that rear view mirror, looking backwards. And that's all you're doing is you're looking in that rear view mirror as you're trying to drive. What do you all think happens when you drive a car and the focus is primarily in the rear view mirror? You all tell me, what happens when you do that? I'm gonna get you guys talking a little bit. I'm not entertaining anybody. I'm here to talk to you all for a minute. What happens when you're driving a car, or if you drive a car? I pray you don't do this in real life, but if you drive a car, Mary D says you can crash. What else happens? What happens when you're driving a car and your primary focus, you keep looking at the rearview mirror? And you're using that as the gauge, right, in terms of the turns and moves that you're making. What happens? Ms. says you lose sight of where you're going. That's beautifully put, Miss Congeniality. I love that. What else happens when you're driving a car, you all, and you're focused on looking in the rearview mirror? I prayed before I went on this live right now that someone gets, what is the word I used? Because it's always someone that needs to hear. I pray that someone gets unlocked, that this is what someone has been looking for. Someone needs to hear this. And the message that I'm getting at is that let today be the day you begin practicing self-compassion. We have a guest speaker that's going to be speaking on that in just a little bit at 12 o'clock today. And let today be the day you make the decision. There's no more rear view mirror driving. When you are driving a car, you all, and I've done it many times before. That's why I can speak to you. Someone says distractions. Someone said, Angie says you can't focus on what's ahead. What else? What happens when you're driving a car and and imagine being on a highway. Let's just go there. You're picking up some speed, right? Life is really beginning to take off. You're beginning to do some serious running. But imagine if you keep looking in that rearview mirror, and that's how you're determining to go forward. What happens? What happens when you're driving a car looking at that rearview mirror, you all? I'm seeing a number of responses that's come in already. Someone said you can't focus on what's ahead. Amanda says, it's me, I needed this today. Amen, Amanda, you may be the reason I went live right now. Someone says you'll have an accident. Yes. Why is that? Why will you have an accident? Ooh, INZYP, baby, I love that you said that. She said deception. Yeah, expand on that a little bit. That's really good. Mary V says panic. Oh my goodness, Mary V, that's so powerful. Mary V says panic. What happens when you're driving a car, you all? I'm making a point with this. When you're driving a car and you got all these turns and curves ahead and you're trying to pick up speed and really get things to another level in your life, but you keep pausing and looking out that rearview mirror. And in fact, you're spending the majority of your time looking at what you did in the past, looking at that rearview mirror. What happens to that driver or to that vehicle when that is how you are primarily operating and driving your car. D says you won't go far safely. Princess said anxiety. Princess Pseudo says loss of focus. That's a really good one, baby. She said loss of focus. You all, this is what happens in our lives when we drive. Someone says, you give up your authority. Ooh, Florence, that's so powerful. I love that you said you give up your authority. Mary V says you can't see or understand what is true. Mary V, that's very, very powerful. Yeah. INZY says could lead to confusion, fear, and loss of control. I absolutely love that. So now that you all know what happens when you're driving a car and your main focus is looking out the rearview mirror, the question you should be asking yourself is, how are you living your life? What do you think about your thoughts? And how are you exercising self-compassion in your life? This is why we have a guest speaker coming in today. For those of you who are members of the Unlocking Greatness community, please, by the grace of God, make sure you log into the Unlocking Greatness community on time today at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. We have an amazing guest speaker coming in. Her name's Virginia. She is just beyond an expert, just her heart for God, her love. I got with her last night and she talked to me about all of the points that she's going to be making with the members in the Unlocking Greatness community. And literally I told her, I said, just from you talking to me and sharing what you're going to be sharing with them, we're going to do some exercises and she's going to walk us through exercising self-compassion. I says, you don't even understand how you've released some things in me. You all, when we're driving a car, and we're constantly focused on rearview mirror driving, that's equivalent to you are trying to walk into this new season that God has for you, but you keep focusing on the mistakes that you've made in the past. Someone says it's so hard to have self-compassion. You're right, baby. You're right. That's why I have a guest speaker we invited in for the live workshops we're having today. And if you are a member, I don't recognize your name on here. Make sure you log in on time. But you're right. When we are, here's what I want you all to get. The enemy does an amazing job if he can just keep you looking backwards, and if he can just keep you feeling guilty or doubtful or down about some of the choices or decisions you've made, right? Or if he can help you be stuck in the past. Do you not understand? That prevents, to a large degree, how you are moving forward. Does that make sense? It literally slows you down. I love some of the answers you all have given. Someone says it gives anxiety. Someone says you don't really know the truth. Someone says, I think someone says you have confusion in your life. That's literally what it looks like in the spirit and in the physical when we are constantly looking back and worried about or feeling down about some of the choices that we've made in the past. And it can be any kind of choices. You know, I wish I was a better parent, or I wish I made better decisions with my finances, or wish I would have went to college, or I wish I would have not said this, or I wish I would have made a better decision here. Now, it's human. We all do it at times. But you all have to realize it's very, very, very dangerous to do that. You may say, well, Z, why is it dangerous to do that? Because it's fogging your vision in terms of the direction you're going. And you all already hit on a lot of the points. Even if you take some steps forward and you decide, hey, you know what? Let's say you heard a good motivational talk or something. And I hope you all know by this point, motivation really doesn't last. Motivation by itself is just like a temporary pickup, right? But that's another subject. It fogs your vision. It prevents you making major quantum leaps in your life. And even when you make those leaps in life, I've been there, you all. That's why I can speak with compassion from my heart right now, because I'm trying to prevent someone on this live from doing the same thing. Even when you begin to move forward and you begin to pick up some speed, right? And you begin to finally make that decision. This is my focus. This is where I'm going. Every now and then, when you look in that rearview mirror and you're looking back at the decisions you made in the past, all you're doing is you're allowing that fear to come back in. You're allowing yourself to be walking around in confusion. Is there anyone that feels like, man, I've been confused, or feeling like, you know, I'll make a decision to do something and then a couple weeks later I stop and I end up not doing it, right? Or is it just me that's experienced that in my past, right? Sometimes in my present, I have to watch that. right? Or you may feel like I've made a decision to move forward, but the moment things got tough, or the moment I was triggered, right? The moment I was triggered, that's a big one for people who grew up in scarcity or poverty like myself, right? That's a big one. The moment I was triggered, then I began to, instead of making the moves I needed to make, I went back into that safe position because I got to protect this little bit that's mine that I got. That's what happens when we do rearview driving. This is why the Bible teaches us, I'm doing a new thing in your life. Do you not even perceive it? Do you not even see it? Do you not even perceive? I believe right now, even for some of the people on this live right now, there's amazing things that God has planned for your life. I'm talking major quantum leaps in your life that can even happen this week. I believe that with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. But you may not even perceive it because instead of looking straight forward, you're spending too much time doing what I call rear view mirror driving. And I pray that today that is broken over your life. That you make a decision today. You know what? I've looked back too many times. Life is going pretty quick. And someone says, yeah, that's hard when you have to deal with the consequences of past decisions. I wish I had some time to spend with you on that one, baby. You're right, there are consequences from past decisions. But I don't know if you're a part of a live I did the other day. I don't have time to go into that with you right now, but yes, there's consequences from past decisions, but the enemy can do such a crafty job getting you to see that you messed up, and now it can never be straightened. But baby, God is able to make crooked roads straight. Some of my greatest blessings, baby, have come from, unfortunately, what I deemed as failures or mistakes or some bad decisions I made. Some of the best and greatest moves and going into different seasons of my life was birthed from it, if that makes any sense to you at all. Some of my best seasons came at the end of those dark seasons. I would encourage you, whoever you are, make sure you read, there's a passage in the Bible, I believe it's in Luke 15, about the parable of the lost son, the prodigal son. I don't have time to go in it for too long because I'm actually getting prepared for our live workshop we're about to have, which, by the way, if anyone is looking to join the Unlocking Greatness community, you all can go to unlockinggreatness.com and sign up today and actually end up being a part of these live workshops with our guest speakers. And I'll actually be able to talk to you and meet you at noon because I'm welcoming all of the new members into the Unlocking Greatness community. So anyway, you can go to unlockinggreatness.com. But for you, the person that said that message, I want to make sure I finish this point. In Luke chapter 15, there's a beautiful parable I want you to read. It's called the parable of the lost son. Baby, that young man messed up everything. He messed up everything. He asked for his father's inheritance. His father gave it to him. He went and squandered his money and did everything wrong. He got to a point where he was begging for the very food that the pigs were eating. And finally, he said when he came, I keep adjusting my glasses because they're sliding off my nose. Finally, when he said he came to his senses, he said, I finally came, let me get my other glasses. He said, when I finally came to my senses, he ran his butt back to his father, right? And when he ran back to his father, I want you all to help her out. Do you know what happened when he ran back to his father? You all tell her what happened when he ran back to his father. Someone says God is actually looking for that broken and empty jars. Yes, baby, yes. What happened? You all help her really quickly. Someone has said that they messed up a lot and there's just a lot of consequences. What happened when that young man ran back to his father? Well, went back to his father, basically asking, hey, I'm not even worthy. In fact, he says in Luke chapter 15. This is so good, God. In Luke chapter 15, verse 17, when he came to his senses, you all turn over, go grab your Bibles real quick. Now, if you ain't into your Bible, I don't know how I can really help you because any and everything I talk about, even when I'm talking about entrepreneurship things and mindset patterns and things like that, which you all know if you're members of the Unlocking Greatness community, I talk about that quite a bit, but it always still has some Bible base to it. So turn over to Luke chapter 15 really quickly. Verse 17, when he came to his senses, he said, how many of my father's hired men have food to spare, and here I am starving? He says, I'll set out and go back to my father and say to him, I've sinned against heaven and against you. Listen to this, how this man felt about himself. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. He was telling his father, make me like one of the hired men. So listen, that was his spirit as he returned back to his father. For those who are just joining, I'm just encouraging somebody for a moment in Luke chapter 15, parable of the lost son. So to answer your question, yeah, there's consequences from decisions we've made. That is very true. Just like in the parable of the lost son. And I love this. I love that Jesus is the one telling this parable. That's what really just touches my heart. So he messed up tremendously. He came back with nothing. He came back wanting and in need, saying to his father, I'm no longer worthy because of the choices and decisions I've made in life. But what's so incredibly beautifully about this, someone, Seven Gil Storm says, your time is so needed. Thank you, baby. What's so beautiful about this, I love the father's response. Someone says their father embraces him and throws a party. You jumping way ahead of me, baby. You sure got it. Someone knows their Bible. I love the father's response. So this young man in verse 20, so he got up and went to his father. So the first thing is we got to get up and go to God. You can't just soak in it. You know, for those of you who are still doing rearview mirror driving, baby, if you continue with those negative patterns, those negative thoughts, if you continue, I don't care if it's just a little bit of your time every day, thinking through what didn't go well, comparing yourself to others, wishing you would have done something differently, you can't go back and change the past. So every moment you spend thinking in it is a moment you can be missing your turn. I don't even know if you all are aware how quickly God can lift you up, how quickly everything can turn around for you in your life when you make the decision you're going to run back to Him. When you're making the decision, I am no longer going to dwell on the past. As the Word of God teaches us, do not dwell on the past. Many people don't know this, but I'd say the vast majority of every mindset specialist that you run into, and we have a number of them, we have mindset specialists that come in as guest speakers. In fact, we had one last week that spoke on money blocks. He did an amazing job with members in the Unlocking Greatness community. But all of it, to a degree, is biblically based. The Bible teaches us whatever is lovely, whatever is pure, whatever is holy, think about such things. Right? The Bible teaches us don't dwell on the past. I'm doing a new thing. The Bible teaches us keep your gaze directly straight before you. Anyway, let me just keep going. So the parable of the lost son, I'm still talking to this one person over here who said it's very hard for her, or I'm not sure if it's a lady or a guy, but just said it's very hard for her because she's thinking about all the consequences and stuff. What the enemy loves to do is keep you in that cycle, because if he can just keep you thinking about what's not working, what's not going well, keep you looking in the past, then you can stop yourself, because the turn that you are supposed to be making as you're moving forward, you'll miss it because you're doing what I call rear view mirror driving. So what is the first step that we do? You turn back to the Father. That's what this young man did. Luke 15, verse 20. So he got up and went to his father. For those who are joining, I drifted a moment. I wasn't going to go this deep into the parable of the lost son, but someone had said a statement, and I'm just following the Spirit. So the parable of the lost son, so he got up and went to his father. Now, here's the most beautiful part about this whole thing, and I'm going to try my best to say this without crying. In verse 20 in Luke 15, it says, but while he was still a long way off, I've had some new members come into the Unlocking Greatness community who said, Z, I'm really not even into Christianity. I'm not in my Bible as much. But my God, I'm so glad I'm in here, and I'm so glad I'm feeling welcome, and I'm learning, and I feel like this is drawing me back closer to God. While he was still a long way off. For some of you, you're just now making that turn really slowly. Some of you all don't even want to go to church, don't want nothing to do with church, right? But long way off. Long way off. I love how Jesus put this. His father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. You all catch that verse? I don't know why my hands are shaking as I'm saying this. While he was still a long way off, he had messed up. He made bad choices. He came to his senses and said, let me turn back to my father real quick. His father saw him. Isn't it beautiful that God is showing you, I see you? Oh, the lady that's speaking at noon, the guest speaker we have, just sent me a message. It just popped up on my phone. She's looking forward to seeing us in 1 hour. For those of you who want to join the Unlocking Greatness community, join our live workshop sessions for personal development, entrepreneur development, you are so welcome to join. My God. Go to unlockinggreatness.com. We still have open enrollment. You all can sign up today. Immediately go into the community and click on that link, and you'll be joining us live, where I'll be able to look at you and talk to you. But we're going live in less than an hour. We have a phenomenal guest speaker coming in, and she's going to be speaking on this, but she's going to do a far better job than me, because she teaches facilitators all around the world. She's written tons of Christian books. Oh my God, she's powerful. And she's doing an entire lesson today, teaching the members on the importance of self-compassion and how to deal with friction when it comes in your life. But anyway, I just lost my train of thought a second because a message just popped up on my phone that she's looking forward to joining us at noon. But what's beautiful about this passage, while he was still a long way off, his father saw him. Jesus saw him and was filled with compassion for him. Now, isn't that interesting? You guys got me crying, and I wouldn't even plan on crying. Isn't that interesting that here this person was dealing with self-condemnation, doing rearview driving, right? Focusing on, man, if I would have made better choices, and now I got all these consequences I'm dealing with from the past, right? And I don't even know how to change. I don't even know how to, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get out of this rut? But let me at least begin to turn to God. Let me at least turn in the right direction. I love, Jesus is not saying that the son ran all the way up to him. Jesus says he saw him, saw the condition of the heart. He saw him. He was filled with compassion for him. And listen to this, you all. If this don't get you, nothing will. And this is the Father doing this. This is the Father doing this, you all, not the Son. While he was still a long way off, his Father saw him, was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son. My God. My God. His son didn't even have anything to offer, if you think about it. And his son definitely deserved, some strong words and to be punished. But he ran to his son. And then what did he do, you all? You all tell me what was next. What did he do, for those of y'all who know your Bibles? What did he do? I don't know if my support team is in here, but I'm removing someone from one of my pages. There's someone here that has a hard time with the Bible. It's okay, baby. I'm not for everybody. It's all right. I will never be on a platform or have a coaching program or do anything that I do if I can't bring the Word of God into it. So you've got so many other platforms, hundreds of thousands of other coaches and mentors out there that you can go to, and you can keep scrolling and listen to tons of other live events with people that won't dare mention God, Jesus, or the Bible. So I'm not for everybody, baby. But for the rest of y'all, let me jump back to what I was saying. He ran to him. And what else did he do after he ran to him, you all? Someone says felt compassion for him. Someone says fattened a calf, gave him a ring. Genesis says you're bringing the word. Thank you, Genesis. Sometimes people have an issue with it, and it's okay. It's okay. And sometimes people are just on an assignment. But sometimes, this is why you don't get mad when people do things like this. I just blocked the person from my page, but sometimes people are going through things and they don't even know. There's a chapter inside of my book called Strange Favor. They go through hard things in life, and sometimes they don't even know it's the strange favor of God at work in their lives, but they just can't see it. And so if you can't see it and you've not been trained, or if you don't know your word, it's very easy to get angry at God for the things that happen in life, right? Like I can get so angry with God that my son passed away unexpectedly as I'm writing the book for God, right? Like how you gonna allow that to happen, right? So anyway, let me stay on track. The bottom line is that he had compassion. He ran to his son. Oh my God. He threw his arms around him. Can you all imagine that? And he kissed him. And now the son, look how the son is seeing himself. You guys look at the rear view mirror driving. The son is saying in verse 21, for those who are just joining in Luke 15, the son is saying, the son said to him, Father, I've sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. I Am Redeemed says, I love how you keep touching on the subject. We need to be reminded so many times and not look back. Yes, baby, yes. His son says, I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. But, verse 22, the father said to his servants, my God. The father says, quick, like hurry up, like at once, do it now. Father's like, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Oh my God. Put a ring on his finger. Oh my God. Put sandals on his feet. Oh my gosh. Then he had a calf cooked for him and all of that, and turned around and had the audacity to throw a party for him. You all, anyway, I wouldn't even plan on going into that. I can just keep on going with that one. I have chills over my entire body now. Someone needs to know you've done well. And today is the day you need to make a decision. You're no longer going to do any more rear view driving. Okay? Someone said the live is pausing. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't know it was pausing. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened here. Hang on one second, you guys. My live paused and went out on these people. Hopefully they know that they can watch me on another channel. Hang on one second. I'm just going to share what was in there. So anyway, I was on, if you're on my Instagram, well, I guess they're not going to even be able to watch it now, but for the rest of you all, hopefully they'll come over to the other channels. But you all need to know that you've done well. And you all need to know that this is how the enemy works. He loves to get you caught up in what didn't work, what did you do wrong, and things are not going to change. And the Bible is clearly teaching us, and I love the way that Jesus puts this. I love that the Father said, quick, bring a best robe, put it on him, go get a ring, put some sandals on his feet. Let's go get a calf. Let's prepare it for him. Let's throw a party. This is God's way of showing us this is who he is. This is how he responds to us when we just simply run back to him. But see, here's the issue. The enemy loves to get you to feel and think you've messed up too much. Do you all know that God specializes in using messed up people? I don't even know if people know that. That's actually one of the chapters, I believe that's one of the chapters inside of Necessary. I know I did a podcast on it. Let me just turn to it really quickly. It's a chapter in here somewhere about God uses messed up people. I think I did a podcast on God uses messed up people, and then I wrote in here God can do more with less. Do you all know that that's his specialty? Let me see really quickly if the Instagram will come back on again. Hang on a second here, you guys. For those of you who were, hang on one second here. If my team is watching this, there's someone in the community saying, has the meeting started yet, that she's not able to get in. If you all can respond and let her know, it starts at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. So if my team is listening, if you all can respond and just let her know she's an hour early. You all, our live workshop starts at noon. Hopefully on Instagram, you all can see me now. If it goes out again, if the connection is paused, just go to my YouTube page or my TikTok or Facebook or one of the other platforms I'm streaming on right now. I need to tie this all up because I was only planning on going live for 15 minutes. Okay, my team said that they're responding to her now. Okay, thank you, team. Thank you. Let me finish my point and I'm going to close out. For those of you who are just joining, this entire short little live video, it's all on no more mirror driving. You all, no more looking backwards. No more looking backwards. because it's going to hinder our progress as we move forward. And then someone on my live asked a question about, but what about all the consequences, Z? There's consequences from mistakes we've made in the past that still impacts our present. And I just completely deviated and went off on a whole nother subject and talked about Luke chapter 15, about the parable of the prodigal son. I mean, if there's anybody that messed up, it was him, because he messed up royally. But what's beautiful about the way that story is told, by the way, it was Jesus telling this story. What's so beautiful about it, it's probably one of my favorite stories in the Bible, is even when the son was a long way off, the father saw him and ran to him, had compassion on him, put a robe on him, put a ring on his finger, put sandals on his feet, quickly did it, threw a festival, a party for him. And if you look at the scriptures, and this is what I'm hoping that resonates with you all, when you read the scriptures, you want the words to pop off the page and you want to look at the story underneath the scriptures. At least that's how it is when I read it, right? I can't explain it, but when I read scriptures, it's very, very difficult for me to put it in words. But it's as if the words, it's as if the words come off the page in 3D in my spirit, and then I see the story underneath it. And so the story underneath it that I see is, wow, God is telling us no matter what we've done to turn back and run back to him. And if you really get deep and look at this, you all, you'll be able to see, look at the mindset and the thought pattern of the individual that had messed up. He said twice, he said, I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. You see how he saw himself? That's why we did an entire lesson on worthiness about 3 or so weeks ago inside of the Unlocking Greatness community. For those of you who are already members, you already know this. We've been going really, really, really deep, not just into entrepreneurship and growing your business and all of that, but we also been going deep into mindset. We've been going deep into worthiness. The whole community has been studying our worthiness. That's why we have the guest speaker speaking today, you all, and she'll be speaking at noon, by the way. Virginia. I cannot wait. I can't even wait for you all to get the pearls of wisdom this woman is about to drop into this community. She has taught facilitators all around the world. She is beyond phenomenal, written so many amazing books. And she's one of the ones, when I wrote Necessary, when I was going through one of the rough moments in my life, she's the woman I talked about in that book, that when I first met her and she invited me to one of her workshops, or I should say Bible studies, whatever you want to call it. She's the one that I said, you women are too weak for me. I'm not coming back to this thing. I talked about it in my book. I laugh about it now, but I talked about it in this book. But anyway, I'm grateful that she has agreed to be the guest speaker for today. We're going to learn a lot. But anyway, let me get back to my point so I can close out. For the person who asked that question on my Instagram, please read Luke chapter 15 and really meditate on that passage. That entire passage shows us how God feels about us when we turn back. In regards to, yeah, Z, but there's still consequences from the past. I don't have time to go through a whole training session with you. I wish I could, but I have to make sure that I'm careful when doing things like this live online. I'll just say this: if you ever do decide to join the Unlocking Greatness community, please make sure you're in the sessions we have on mindset and mindset growth patterns. We do a whole lot of sessions on that, baby, because the more you focus on, but I can't move forward because of all of these things that's happened in my past, or I'm hindered by all these things that happen. If that's the mindset and the thought pattern, yeah, what you believe, that's pretty much what's going to happen. It's actually biblical. It's biblical because you are an heir of God. I wish I had some time with you. It's biblical because even your thoughts are just that powerful. It's biblical because without you realizing it, you're calling things that are not as though they are. And the world has to respect what you are commanding in your life as an heir of God. If I could spend 20 minutes with you, I will go so much deeper into that one. But anyway, I hope that helped you, baby. I love you all. Let me get my thoughts together before I close out of here. One, I want to remind you all, no more rear view driving. No more rear view mirror driving. You all, you can't live like that anymore. You can't. I got something else to tell you. Life is actually too short to live like that. It's too short to live your life looking back in the past at what you wish you would have done. Your life is too short. God is able. I was reading a story in the Bible the other day. I hope I can find it really quickly. How in just one day, I think it was 2 Kings 7. You guys got me going through my Bible. I wasn't planning on doing all of this, you guys. I think it was 2 Kings 7, about how there was a famine. Things were extremely bad. Extremely bad. Let me see. Was it 2 Kings 7? Yes, it was 2 Kings 7. I read this the other day. And in one day, everything turned around. Elijah had said about this time tomorrow, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm kind of rushing now because I've got to go. But Elijah basically said, by this time tomorrow, everything's going to be basically, we're going to have plenty. And there was a soldier who said, even if, let me quote it from it, the officer, this is 2 Kings 7, verse 2, the officer on whose arm the king was leaning said to the man, look, even if the Lord should open the floodgates of the heaven, could this happen? You all see that mindset? God, I wish I could spend another 20 minutes with you guys. You see that mindset? Rearview mirror looking, driving the car, looking in the rearview mirror. Even, and in other words, he was saying, even if God himself, commanded this, that ain't even possible. He was basically saying, could this even happen? And what did Elijah say to him? Elijah, and I'm paraphrasing, said, not only will it happen, but you're not going to see any of it. Why do you think that happened, you guys? And you all can go on and read the story to see what happened. But let the words come off the page in 3D and look at it from a different angle. Why did that man, and you all can see what happened, and sure enough, the next day, everything changed around. You guys can read the story to see what happened. It was a phenomenal story what God ended up doing. But the person who doubted, the person who was doing the rearview mirror driving, the person who was stuck in the past and stuck in looking at the famine and everything that was going on, that person ended up getting trampled up on. And just as that prophet Elijah said, you will see it, but you won't eat any of it, that's exactly what happened. So we have to be careful, not only with our thoughts, we have to be careful even with our expectations. Body, mind says power of the word. Even with what we expect. So I want to remind you all, and I need to be wrapping up this live really quickly. I want to remind you all, 1, you've done well. 2, no more self-condemnation from this day forward. 3, God actually specializes in using messed up people. You all, I've messed up many times in life. I'll be 60 years old in a few more years, right? Yeah, I've messed up so many times. Personal life, spiritual, business. I've been in business for many, many, many years, right? I messed up so many times in life. I'm here to tell you all. It's a part of life. We go, but in everything, and I always tell God, and I told him this the other day. I said, God, I thank you for the opportunities you've given me to grow. I said, all your ways are good. Every single thing, every door you closed led me going down the right pathway that I need to go. And so when I look back on it, I think, wow, God specializes in using messed up people. I wish I had time to go in the story of Moses. You all know the mess that Moses did? I wish I had time to go into David. Do you know the mess that David did? And with Bathsheba, we don't even want to get into that. Look at Peter. Look at the Apostle Paul, especially the Apostle Paul, my goodness. Look at Abraham. Look up what he told his wife on a couple of times to do when it was a man that really liked his wife. And he's like, tell them you're my sister. I mean, it's so, when you all, I pray that you all fall in love with the word of God, because most people don't know the stories. And so when we look at the Bible, we get scared and we just we bounce away from it. All our answers are really right in here. All of our answers. Now, I have a coaching program, a mentorship. The Unlocking Greatness community is absolutely open to you all. I welcome you all to join. You can even join today. But let me just be honest with you. Really, all your answers are in here. I'm just being honest. All your answers are in here. Every answer for business, personal life, spiritual growth, all of it, entrepreneurship, every answer is right there in the word, believe it or not. That's why it's very important that even with the Unlocking Greatness community, our platform is based on Bible-based and mindset principles. Has to be. But anyway, this isn't about me. I wanted to come on here to encourage someone. Number one, no more rearview mirror driving, my brothers and sisters. Number two, I want you all to be reminded that you've done well. I want you all to put in the comments right now, and I know some of you all are going to have a hard time typing this. I want you to comment, I've done well. I'm going to see who's bold enough to do that, because some of you have a hard time. I know at times I've had a hard time believing that. I want you to type in the comment, I've done well. Persia says, I've done well. Taken says, I've done well. Tamika says, I've done well. Body, Mind, and Soul says, I've done well. Who else can type in there and really believe the words they're typing? King David says, I've done well. King David, that's a powerful name. I like that. Rev Pope says, I've done well. God uses the unqualified and qualifies them, yes. Who else is bold enough to say, I've done well? Josephine says, I've done well. Nurse says, I've done well. KG says, I've done well. KB says, I've done well. Soy says, I've done well. Matt says, I've done well. Hattie says, I've done well. Rachel says, I've done well. You've done well. Broker says, I've done well. Maggie says, I've done well. You all don't realize in the spirit, as you're typing these words in, how much that upsets the enemy. Because if he can just keep you believing and feeling that you've not done well, and keep you from exercising what we call self-compassion, which is what our guest speaker is getting ready to talk about, then he can keep you from being creative. Then he can keep you from moving forward. You all, I believe this with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. God can leverage you and have such a major quantum leap in your life this week, even in your finances. I believe this wholeheartedly. When you let go of what didn't work, stop the self-condemnation, and embrace who you are in his presence, let go of the past and begin moving forward with that confidence, with that faith, making major quantum leaps in your life. But what holds us back is we don't even know we've done well. Thank you, body, mind. Some of you don't even know we are spirits. We're just in this temporary little, this is just a shell. Ephesians 1:5 and Jeremiah 1:5 teaches us we're predestined. Y'all, this is just a shell. This is just like a quilt, like something that we are spirits, predestined. You think God's making up your life along the way? Are you kidding me? And the enemy knows he can't stop the plans that God has for your life. But Rachel says, let's upset the enemy. I'm a child of God. Come on, Rachel. I'm with you, baby. I'm with you. The enemy knows he can't stop you. But, you guys, there's a but in here. But if he can keep you from introducing yourself and recognizing who you really are, then he can get you to stop yourself. I'm going to see if someone caught what I just said. If he can just keep you preoccupied, if he can just keep you stressed, if he can just keep you worried or filled with anxiety, here's a big one. If he can just keep you guilty, if he can just keep you holding on to a little bit of fear, a little bit of self-doubt. Chasing said, this is right here for me, right there. If he can just do that, then he's winning that battle. I put up a podcast yesterday. It was a very short podcast right before heading to church. I was running late for church. And normally I put up a podcast every Sunday. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just don't have time. And God put in my heart so strongly the podcast I put up yesterday. And it was only like a 3 or 4 minute podcast, one of the shortest podcasts I've ever done, because I was rushing trying to get to church. And the podcast simply said, and my podcast, by the way, is called Unlocking Greatness Podcast with Zenja. But the podcast, by the way, said, introduce yourself. And I said in that podcast, some of you need to stop what you're doing right now and go look in a mirror and introduce yourself to the new you. Many of you all don't even know the newer version of yourself, who you really are. So if the enemy can just keep you stuck in looking at your current circumstances, tying it to the past, looking at how someone wronged you or what have you. And I'm not minimizing that, you all, because we all have been hurt in some way or another. But if he can just keep you preoccupied with what's not working. Here's a better way of putting it. And I'm sure my team's going to be reaching out to me soon because I got to get off of this live. If he can just keep you off of the ice. Oh, that's a good way of putting it. I did a demonstration the other day for those of you who are with me, and I drew this ice rink. And I talked about how beautiful it is when an ice skater is on the ice rink. I don't know why I'm drawn to watching it, because I'm not into ice skating at all, but I'm drawn to the mastery. And there's one ice skater, I don't even know his name. I think his name starts with the Y, Y-O-K-U or something. I don't even know who the young man is. But every now and then on my TikTok or one of my channels, he comes up. And there's something he does when he's on the rink that just captures my spirit. And he's skating around on the ice. And every now and then, he will get so low to the ice that his face touches the ice as he's skating in a circle, and his hand is on the ice. So imagine skating and getting so low to the ice. He's so, he does it with such mastery, right? His face is on the ice, and his hand is on the ice as he's going in a circle, and then he comes up and does all his flips and stuff. And every time I see him do that, something in my spirit just leaps. And I say to myself, wow, that is mastery. He's touching the ice. And I did a thing where I drew on the wall. I'm going somewhere with this, you all. I drew this ice rink on the wall. And I said, we all belong on the ice. Each of us have been anointed and favored by God to do things in such a way that only we can do it. Some of you all can do what I'm doing right now in a far better job than what I'm doing. Some of you all are painters. Some of you all are coaches. Some of you all are, can write books better than many of the books out there, right? You belong on the ice. You belong walking in mastery. And so the enemy can't take that gift from you, but he can get you to stay your butt off of the ice. How does he get you to stay off of the ice? I know I'm drifting, you guys, but just follow me. This is in my spirit to say. How does he get you to stay off of the ice? If he can just keep you afraid, keep you preoccupied, having you fear getting on the ice, because what if you fall down? What if you do a triple, whatever you call those jumps? What if you do a triple whatever and you fall down in front of everybody? Is anybody picking up this? Are you all getting what I'm saying? Josephine says, you're such a blessing. Thank you, Lord. Knowing that you're letting go and embracing the new year, yes. What if you do a triple, I'm just going to say somersault. I know that's the wrong, I'm combining gymnastics and ice skating now, but you get my point. What if you do a triple somersault or whatever and you fall down and everyone's looking? What if you hurt yourself? And I think on that drawing that I did on the wall, what if nobody's sitting in the stands? And I put a lot of empty seats all around that ice rink when I drew it out. What if no one's sitting in the stands watching you? And my whole point behind all of that is you do it anyway. You have to deal with distractions, discouragement. Some of you will have a hard time being focused. You're all over the place walking around in confusion. You got to make sure you take it seriously that you belong on the ice. Before I started this live, let me show you what you didn't see. I walked my butt in my office. I'm actually supposed to be in a staff meeting. And I told my crew, I just got to go get on the ice right now. I went in there on my purple rug in my office. I got on my floor. I prayed. I played a little bit of my gospel music, right? And I sat in a chair. And I know you guys are going to say this is weird, but this is me. I sat in a chair. And I said, God, I work with you in partnership. Jesus, I'm with you. I'm ready to go on the ice with you. Let's go on the ice. How do I go out here in love and speak to your people? And I came in here and I pressed live and just started talking. I didn't know what all was going to come out of this. In fact, I was only going to go live for 15, 20 minutes, which is probably why my staff is, going to be walking in here any moment to get my attention, because I got to get prepared for the live workshop we're about to have at noon. But that's what I did. This is on the ice. So if the enemy can just keep your little butt off the ice, that's all he's got to do. He don't even have to really come at you hard. If he can get you doubting yourself, doing all this rearview mirror driving, being stuck in the past, right? Not getting the help you need. Some of you really, really, really need to get mentoring, counseling, and help. Let me be clear. Whether you believe me or not is up to you. I'm not saying this to sell a program. We have people that's been joining the Unlocking Greatness community from all around the world, and I'm so grateful. The comments, by the way, for those of you who are members, that I've seen from people saying, Z, you don't even understand. I've only been in here for one day, or I've only attended, this is my first live workshop I've attended. That's what a young lady said last week. And she's like, this was one of the best decisions I think I've ever made in my life. I'm not doing this to sell a program. You get in, life's gonna go on regardless. Right? God's going to call the people that are called and that are looking. But I'm telling you this for your good. Many of you need to get help and get into a good environment. Get coaching, get mentoring. I don't care if it's from your church or a local organization, right? Get help that you need, because some of you may not even be aware of the limitations you have placed on yourself. So when you get in the right environments, you begin to grow and get the help you need. You all belong on the ice. And that's why some of you, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to run, are not happy in the jobs that you're in. I saw some of you all are going throughout your day just not being completely fulfilled, because you belong on the ice. You belong walking in your giftings. And yes, it is a tremendous sacrifice. The world may never know the sacrifices that were made, that I had to make in my life, giving up so many things to do what I'm doing now. Let go of a lot of things that would no longer serve in my destiny. I had several coaches, mindset coach, a coach, to help me spiritually, coach in my business, right? The world may never know the investments that I had to put in myself so that you can see what you're seeing right now. So yeah, you think it's easy going out there winning gold medals? No, those skaters get coaches, get help, get advice, they get the help they need. But we belong on the ice. And I really believe that is our place, is we belong on the ice. We belong walking in mastery. We do not need to be doing rearview mirror driving. We do not need to be going through the same negative cycles and patterns in life, because we're meant to be on the ice. I'm going to read one passage from my book and I'm going to get on out of here. For those of you who are looking to get some help, if you feel like, you know what, I at least want to give this a try and get some help, I more than welcome you all to join me at 12 o'clock in less than 30 minutes, which is why I got to get my butt off of this live. We are having our next live workshop session. So for those of you who are already members of the Unlocking Greatness community, please make sure you all don't be late. Log in on time at 12 o'clock, which is in 30 minutes from now, because we have a guest speaker. And in fact, my crew in about 10 minutes is getting ready to make sure they check her microphone. And she's going to do some phenomenal demonstrations, but she's going to be teaching us for an entire hour. I have such love and respect for this woman. You talk about somebody on the ice. I mean, she walks in mastery. And so she's going to be teaching on self-compassion today, which is highly needed. She's going to be teaching on friction. How do we deal and handle with any form of friction in our lives without letting it disturb our flow? And she is powerful. She has tremendously helped me in my life, and I'm so grateful that she's agreed to be today's guest speaker. So she's the guest speaker today inside of the Unlocking Greatness community. You all can go to unlockinggreatness.com and sign up. Let me turn to this chapter really quickly. And as soon as you sign up, go inside of the necessary retreat, not the necessary retreat, go inside of the community right away as soon as you sign up, because you'll have instant access. And the link for the Zoom is right there in the community already. So literally as soon as you sign up, go right there in the community, click on the link and join us on the Zoom call, which starts in less than 30 minutes. And I'll get a chance to meet you and talk to you and welcome you to the Unlocking Greatness community. And if you do decide to join, I highly recommend you all get the annual plan, because you'll have access to all of the workshops and all of the guest speakers we've had. Oh my God, all of the master classes. It's just phenomenal. So for those of you who are members, please be on time. I'm going to read a little bit from chapter 20, and I've got to close out in like 2 minutes, because I've really got to go. I've got to get prepared for her. And I do not want to have a guest speaker waiting. So if greatness could speak, you all turn to open up your book Necessary. If you all don't have Necessary, it's available on my website at unlockinggreatness.com. The audiobook is available as a pay what you want, so you can get the audiobook for whatever you want. But anyway, if you have Necessary, turn to chapter 20, which is on page 232. And I just want to leave you all with this bit of encouragement, and I'm going to get on out of here. Also, for those of you who are entrepreneurs, we have an entrepreneur session inside of the Unlocking Greatness community as well. I can't say enough good things about that. If you're looking to grow your businesses, I can't even say enough good things. We've opened up a pro tier as well, which we just opened up not even 2 days ago. We have people that's been on the wait list for it. And in that pro tier, you'll be spending quite a bit of time with me directly. And those are for you who are what we call legacy builders, who want to have global reach and who are looking to expand their business and products and service nationally. But let me make this clear, who are looking to go global with your community reach and your outreach. So we just opened up the pro tier 2 days ago. Can't promise you how long we'll keep it open, but we just opened it up 2 days ago. So for those of you who feel you're in that category, we'll be spending a lot of time together every month. That's open now on unlockinggreatness.com. Okay, chapter 20, If Greatness Could Speak. I want to leave you all with this before I close out. I'm just going to read the affirmation, and then I literally have to run as soon as I'm done. So chapter 20, this is the affirmation for If Greatness Could Speak, and I pray this encourages you all. I'm sorry you had to endure many hardships and dig deep valleys to find me, for I do not lay atop the soil. I waited patiently as I watched you search for me in relationships, careers, and affirmations from others. I'm sorry you did not recognize me when you looked in the mirror and doubted yourself, your talents, and your abilities. I'm sorry you did not hear my whispers when you felt powerless. I was there through every setback you experienced, every trial and tribulation, every painful, discouraging moment of your life. And I was there when you didn't believe in yourself. I was always there, waiting for you to discover me. I was there when you felt you couldn't go another day. I was there when everyone you thought you could depend on turned around and walked away. I wrapped myself around you and held you closely on the days you felt the pain was unbearable. I never let you go. I never lost my grip. And I never will. At last you have found me. At last you have discovered I was always within you. I just read the affirmation from my book, If Necessary, and that chapter is titled, If Greatness Could Speak. If I had time, I would read the chapter, but I absolutely can't because I told my crew I would be live for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and it's been over 50 minutes, so I've really got to go. But that was a little bit from my book, Necessary, titled, If Greatness Could Speak. I pray to God you all have been encouraged. For those of you who are already members of the Unlocking Greatness community, let's please make sure we're on time. The live workshop starts in about 20 minutes. And you already know what to do. Just go into the community, log in and click on the Zoom link, or go check your email because you probably have already received an email with the link. So make sure you're on time. And I'm speaking to those of you who are members. For those of you who are not, I'm coming. My crew's trying to get my attention. For those of you who are not members of the Unlocking Greatness community, we've been having open enrollment for the last 3 or so weeks. I think it's going to continue on throughout this week. I wanted to close it down yesterday, and my team was saying, Z, let's leave it open just a little bit longer. But you literally have no excuse. We have completely opened the doors for members who want to join for personal development and or for entrepreneur development. So we have our plans there at unlockinggreatness.com, and we also just open up our pro plan as well. When you go and join, you have to sign a waiver which acknowledges you're 18 and older and you're going to respect community guidelines. And as soon as you join, you have immediate access. I would love for you all to be a part of the live workshop sessions that we have. Every week there's live workshop sessions, and they're just phenomenal. And I have some of the best guest speakers that come in from around the world. So today we're going to be welcoming Virginia. In about 20 minutes, she's going to be speaking on self-compassion. Mind you, she's written a ton of books. She's trained a ton of facilitators all around the world. And she's talking about self-compassion, the importance of it, and how do we overcome friction in our lives so that we can stay in the flow. And the exercises she's about to do with us, you all, she did a little demonstration with me last week and a little bit last night just to prepare. You all, I told her, I said, just this little bit you've taught me, I said, you don't even understand how this has changed even the way I think about myself and the way I view myself. So I'm so grateful. I have chills. Thank you, God. So grateful this phenomenal woman has dedicated the next hour of her time to coming into the Unlocking Greatness community to teach the members. So you all make sure you log in. And for the rest of you all, you can go to unlockinggreatness.com. It takes about 2 minutes to sign up. And as soon as you sign up, go into the community and I'll be seeing you. So I love you all. I love you. I love you. I got to go. Love you all. Bye-bye. Someone say that would be a great way to reach out to people. I'm not sure what you're talking about, baby. Do you have a TikTok account? Yes, I do. My TikTok handle is my name. It's Zenja Glass. Yes. Love you all. Bye-bye. Alrighty, you guys. I've got to get out of this live. All right. This is my YouTube. Love you all. I know some of my YouTube, many of my YouTube members, you all are already in the Unlocking Greatness community. Make sure you all get your notebooks and pens and stuff and get ready because Virginia already, I think she's already logging in, and my crew is just checking her mic and everything, getting her ready. So make sure you guys are on time. I'll see you all in a little bit on our Zoom. Bye-bye.